Hello friends, welcome to my tutorial channel once again. This is regarding ICSE 1996 paper solved. Only the section B part is solved because at that time most of the questions were out of syllabus. The ones we had come to know that these are according to your syllabus, so we have been trying to do this. So off to the question now. Section B, the first question is, it is optional. The first question is, the apparatus given alongside signifies important process. This apparatus. I hope you have come to know this process. Name the process. It's osmosis. Where does this process occur in plants? It occurs usually in the root hair cells of the plants. What solution is placed inside the dialysis tubing? This one is dialysis tubing. What kind of solution must have been placed over here? Usually hypertonic solution is placed here because outside there is water. Water is hypotonic solution. So inside we always keep hypertonic solution. That may be a solution of salt or a solution of sugar, in that way. What happens to the level of solution in the capillary tube? This is the capillary tube. What will happen after the experiment? It will rise. The level of the solution in the capillary tube will rise. Now you have to write only this much. The level of the solution will rise. Define the process. Process means osmosis. It is the process by which fluid moves from hypotonic to hypertonic solution through a selectively permeable membrane, or you can write semi-permeable, but don't write both of them at the same time. Okay. The B part of the question. What is meant by reflex action? Mention any two examples of this action occurring in our day-to-day life or daily life. So this is reflex action. It's a quick involuntary response to a sensory stimulus without intervention of the brain. That is usually called spinal reflex. There is another kind of reflex also, but here in your syllabus it's only a spinal reflex. Examples for daily life is a sudden withdrawal of hand on touching a hot object. Whenever you touch a hot object, you have to withdraw your hand out of reflex. Next is quick closing of eyelids when a stone appears to approach you. That is also out of reflex. Next question is, a potted tea-starch plant was taken in order to prove that light is necessary for photosynthesis. What is meant by de-starching or de-starched plant? De-starched plant means a plant that is kept in complete darkness for 48 hours plus to make it starch free. How can it be de-starched? Process is same by keeping it in darkness for at least 48 hours. Now using the de-starched plant, describe step by step how would you proceed to prove that in absence of light a leaf cannot manufacture starch. This you have to show it in the form of flowchart, or even you can make columns in order to write them. This is better option. Take a de-starched plant, that is the first thing, then fix the strips of black paper as it is fixed over here. You can see, fix strips of black paper on one of its leaves, that is known as experimental leaf, and cut a design on it. Here the design that is marked is star-like. You can put any design over here. Next is to keep this apparatus in sunlight for about an hour. Next is detach the leaf. This experimental leaf you have to detach from the plant and then perform starch test on it. So that's it. Next is B part. This is the figure of heart, external feature of the heart. Okay. Name the parts labeled 1 to 7. 1 is aorta, Number 2 is left atrium, this one. Number 3 is left ventricle. Number 4 is dorsal aorta. Number 5 is inferior vena cava, IVC. Number 6 is superior vena cava, SVC. Number 7 is pulmonary artery. This goes to the lungs. And these things are already given. The coronary artery is given. The arteries that supply the muscles of the heart. Right ventricle is given. Right atrium is given. The question is, what happens if coronary artery gets internal clot? Now, any clot in the arteries stops any blood supply and oxygen supply to that part of the body. So, heart muscles won't get blood supply if there is a clot, and oxygen also, no supply of oxygen, hence heart attack occurs. This much only you have to write as a question. Answer. What type of blood does 5 carry? Which is 5? This one. This is vena cava. Vena cava is a vein. It carries deoxygenated blood. Give one structural difference between 5 and 4. 5 is vena cava. It have valves. And 4 is dorsal aorta, means an artery. It doesn't have valves. Complete. Off to the next question now. Draw a label diagram of longitudinal section of human kidney. This is the diagram that has been drawn for you. This is the outer side is renal capsule. Then this is the cortex, renal cortex. This is renal medulla. These structures, bristle-like structures, is known as renal pyramid. This part just going to the ureter is the renal pelvis. This is renal artery, this is renal vein. Now these are renal columns of Bertini, and this is calyx. This region is calyx. This is all about it. Next question is, name the hormones produced by the following glands and give the one function of each hormone. Number 1 is thyroid. Thyroid produces thyroxine, which regulates the basal metabolic rate and calcium level. Pancreas secretes insulin, which lowers the blood sugar level. Adrenal medulla secretes adrenaline or epinephrine, which protects or prepares against emergency situations of stress, etc. Next question is, the diagram is an apparatus used to study a particular phenomenon in plants. This is the phenomenon, this is the apparatus. It studies the transpiration. So name the apparatus. It is Ganong's photometer. What is it used for? It is used to measure the rate of transpiration in plants. What is the role played by air bubble? Here you can see the air bubble. As the transpiration occurs, the air bubble keeps on moving. So part played by air bubble is it helps to determine the rate at which the rate of water uptake takes place. Of what use is the reservoir? The reservoir supplies the water. This is the reservoir. Whenever there is less water over here, it supplies water. Supplies water when its quantity is reduced. What happens to the movement of air bubble if apparatus is kept, number 1, in dark? Whenever it is in dark, the stomata causes transpiration rate negligible, so the bubble moves slowly. In sunlight, if it is sunlight, the transpiration is rapid and the bubble moves faster. Now if it is kept in front of the fan, the rate of transpiration is enhanced by the breeze of the sun, by the breeze of the fan, hence the bubble moves very, very fast. Next question is to give the label diagram of human sperm. Only label the head, middle piece, acrosome, mitochondria and tail. Only these 5 parts you have to label. So this is the head, this is the acrosome, this is middle piece, this one. In the middle piece there is mitochondria and this is the tail. To define death rate is the number of death per 1000 individuals of a population per year. All the things have to be present. These are all keywords. Hormones. Keyword is chemical messengers. Then ductless glands and carried by blood. These 3 keywords are there. If you don't write any of these keywords, marks is difficult to get. Coming to the next part of the question, that is choice. Choice is yours. The given diagram shows the parts of human ear. Name the parts labeled 1 to 8. Part number 1. 1 is steps. This is the last bone, steps. 2. Semicircular canals. Number 3. 3 is auditory nerve. Number 4. Cochlea. Number 5. Eustachian tube. Number 6. Eardrum, tympanum. Number 7 is malleus, the first bone of the ossicle, malleus. And number 8 is pinna. These are all the labelings. Give the function of the parts marked 2 and 7. Function of 2. What is the function of 2? 2 means semicircular canals. It maintains dynamic equilibrium of the body. And 7. Function of 7 is, what is 7 over here? Malleus. So malleus, what does it do? It transmits the sound waves. Transmits the sound waves from tympanum to the other ossicles. The next bone means incus, and from the incus it goes to the steps, and that's the way the sound is propagated. Why is it harmful to remove the wax from the ear using needle or pin? It is because they are sharp objects, because this may damage the tympanum and hearing is impaired. So that is finished. Now coming to describe briefly the functions of palisade parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma contains chlorophyll, helps in photosynthesis. Contains chlorophyll and helps in photosynthesis. Medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata helps in heart rate and breathing rate maintenance. Maintenance helps in maintenance of or regulation of maintenance and regulation of heart rate and breathing rate. Placenta transports oxygen, nutrients, hormones, etc. from mother to fetus. And testes produce male gametes. What are male gametes? Sperms. So that's all for today. I hope you have seen everything clearly. This much you have to write using keywords. Don't forget to use the keywords because the keywords are very valuable. They contain the marks. They will give you marks. So don't miss any keywords. So please share my channel to as many people as possible, and please subscribe the channel and press the bell button so that you may get the information as soon as it comes to hits the channel. Okay, thank you once again. Best of luck.